Hello all! How is it going, everybody? Welcome to the stream. I am your host, Rezi Orenji, as usual. Welcome everybody. How was your week? How is everybody's week? It has been fucking hot over in New York City. Like Jesus, I I have been glad every moment I've had to sit in AC for the meantime. But also I've just been still kind of recovering from just the afterglow of this month. I've had a good August between the two King Gizzard concerts I went to see, between Anime New York City, and actually just this past week I got to rehearse with my one of my bands again for the first time in ages. So I'm feeling really good about that. Feeling really excited to get into practicing the drums regularly again. Like, that's been another thing that's coming back into my life. Hopefully I can keep that up, alongside everything else I've got going on in my life, alongside my commitments to this channel, alongside my commitments to my real job, which I've actually gotten signed on for another year for, which, another good aspect about this month. Oh my gosh, August has just been good for me. I hope it has treated all of y'all similarly, and I hope that September's equally as nice. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, anyways, welcome once again to the Music Talk stream, where I just sort of gather with other VTubers and we chat about music we like, other sorts of things, even. Yeah, I guess we kind of go off topic sometimes. Obviously we're VTubers, we talk a lot about that, but VTubers are nerds and we just tend to nerd out in general. So I hope you're ready for not just, the geeky music talk, nerd talk in general, because this person in particular, we've been mutuals on Twitter for a while. My current guest this week, we've been mutuals, and they're pretty nerdy too. I don't know. We seem to have pretty similar tastes in, not just music, but VTubers. Apparently they're super into Pomu Rainpuff, as am I. They're a punk delinquent-esque VTuber. I'm very sort of, I don't know if you call a lazy cat boy punk, but I'm very sort of alternative counterculture styled. I don't know. There's a lot here, and I'm very excited today to speak with my guest today, Maru Malandra. Please welcome her.
Hello.
How's it going, Maru? How are you doing?
I am good. I'm ready. I'm prime. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go out there, coach. Fucking put me in batting or pitching or whatever the fuck. So I was playing baseball today.
That's very good. That's very good. Oh yeah. Well, usually the way I like to start, these interviews, I don't know, I tend to view them more as conversations. I just like yapping with other VTubers.
Yeah.
But usually I like to open the floor to my guests and sort of like let them talk about like music stuff first. There's a lot of cool music, sort of either tangentially themed VTubers, or they're deep involved in the music themselves, like making it or singing it or what have you. How were you sort of drawn to your passion for music? Because you're a very sort of, I guess, punk delinquent themed VTuber. You've also got a lot of other. You sent me a list of your tastes or whatever a few days before stream. Just because I wanted to get the thumbnail right, and you seem to have some pretty cool rock tastes. So I guess like where did that all sort of stem from?
So it's interesting. So I grew up. When I grew up, I kind of wasn't really listening to my own music a lot. Like I was listening to, what I still listen to, which is a lot of soundtracks and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And the first record that I bought was a tape, because I'm old, of it was this like weird album of like Super Mario Land. That's what it was branded for.
Oh
But
yeah.
it had like a song with lyrics that had the Mario Land overworld theme within it, and some other songs, and I cannot remember anything about it. I think I have Mandela affected it into existence. I don't know. I've never researched it, so I don't know. I can't even remember if I think it was probably in Spanish. So
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
what the hell, because I'm from Argentina, right?
Right,
Did I
right.
mention I'm from Argentina? I'm from Argentina. It's gonna come up a lot.
Okay,
And
okay.
so that was the first. But the first proper record that I bought with my money, a proper record. I'm canceling out the Mario Land one because it doesn't make me sound cool. The next one's gonna make me sound cool. It was Seventh Son of a Seventh Son by Iron Maiden.
Right on, right on. I dig.
Because I'm from South America, and listening to Iron Maiden at some point in your life is kind of mandatory.
Oh my god, South Americans go fucking nuts for metal.
We go well. I mean, we go nuts for metal. I never went there because like a lot of my friends in high school they were into metal or whatever. I just kind of stuck with Iron Maiden because in high school I discovered anime,
Oh yeah.
and that was me. That was me.
Makes sense, makes
Um,
sense.
But yeah, so it started with Iron Maiden, and then in like, I did grow up like there was like a big explosion of like Argentinian rock that was in the background that I wasn't really paying attention to, that I started getting into after I left Argentina, and then when I moved to Ireland, I started getting into indie rock,
Oh,
right?
nice, nice.
And started meeting a lot of cool people, introduced me to cool stuff. I got introduced to the Mountain Goats,
Mm.
and yeah, and then it slowly started learning about a lot of other bands and stuff. But it took me a while because all the people that were into cool music when I was in secondary school, aside from a couple of my friends, they were I was not cool enough to be around them, so
Mm.
they wouldn't tell me about their cool music.
Interesting. Check out Koshin Mark. Pretty cool. Interesting. I'll do that, P-Man Van. I will write that down. Do I have a good piece of paper near me?
I have more action figures around me than I have pieces of paper.
Koshin Mark. Interesting. Sounds like a cool name. It's cool that you I don't know, that you moved all the way from Argentina over to Ireland. How did that
Yeah.
how did that take place?
Economic crises, and
Oh.
at the time being a middle class family at the time.
Makes sense, yeah.
And we moved to Ireland. Then eventually I moved to Scotland. My parents moved to Italy,
Oh yeah.
where a lot of my family's from.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's kind of it. I've been kind of all over the place.
Neat.
But yeah. But that was a long time ago. Like half my life has been lived between Ireland and Scotland now.
Oh,
So,
nice. I will
yeah.
say, I I definitely relate a lot to your experience of getting into like music proper through like video games. I used to when I was a
Yeah.
kid, I used to grow up on the soundtracks of David Wise and Grant Kirkhope from, the Rareware games back in the day. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god, fucking Donkey Kong Country, Banjo-Kazooie, those OSTs were my shit.
They were. They're bangers. I didn't get Banjo because I didn't have an N64, but I did love the Donkey Kong Country soundtracks. I just obviously didn't know who made them at the time.
Right,
You
right.
couldn't look for the young people at the back. You couldn't just look up who did a video game soundtrack back in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
You couldn't just look it up. At best, you could hop on an IRC channel and hope that someone knew and wasn't
Yeah.
telling a fib.
Totally, totally. Oh my god. Yeah, it was those were Wild West days.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know too much about music for ages until fucking, what was it? The Rock Band games. Rock Band, Guitar Hero, those games really introduced me to a whole world of music that I never would have, dived
Yeah.
into naturally otherwise.
It's really funny because I learn, so a lot of my music knowledge, right? I was by the time those games came along, I was well into the indie scene. I was listening to a lot of different bands,
Right.
but I didn't know any aside from Iron Maiden, maybe some Metallica. I didn't know any some Aerosmith, some stuff like that. Aside from that, I didn't know any classic bands. I didn't know anything about AC/DC other than they exist and they're called AC/DC. And so like when Rock Band and Guitar Hero and all of that hit, I was like, oh, okay. And people are like, oh, this song is a classic. And I'm like, is it? I don't, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Which was funny.
Oh my god, those games were so valuable at introducing so many scores of kids to like older music. It's a shame that we don't really have like a Western music game sort of craze going on anymore. I mean, I guess you still kind of have like the yearly Just Dance or whatever, and Harmonix has shifted all their production into Fortnite Festival, but like I don't know.
You got your Just Dance for the Sony PlayStation 2 Just Dance 2024 or whatever it is, the latest one they released on the PS2.
Retirement homes remain retirement home Wii's remain undefeated.
yeah, absolutely. Long may it rain.
Yeah. No, it's it's just a shame, like I feel like, especially too, like the whole copyright situation has just gotten even more perverse ever since, music genres, music games were at their height, to the point where now I'd love to stream like, Clone Hero or Rock Band or anything like that, but I feel like my channel would just get, that it would be outright like stricken and taken down, not just like demonetized, It
would get blasted from orbit by the what is it, the RIAA, whatever that is.
yeah.
Nuked from orbit. But like it's really annoying as well, because like I feel like on the one hand we have the best capability ever to share things with music, and in many ways the least capability ever to like kind of create, because like there's so many genres that were created by like the mashup of other genres, and by like think about like dance music, think about like hip hop, think about like sampling, right? And all that stuff is getting like buttoned down in any, so you can do that stuff. You
know what it is,
but
and
at the same time,
and it might just be me speaking from my own American perspective here, but a lot of the problem that exists currently with digital media is that it's being forced to operate within the legal framework of the print world, essentially. We've still got so much work to do with updating our current laws to really reflect the potential of the digital age.
Oh, absolutely. Like this, I'm sorry to go off topic, but I just watched Eddie Burback, Burback, something like that.
His AI video that he dropped today. I was watching that
he
too.
Just dropped. I just watched it, right? And he goes on a ride. For anyone in chat that didn't watch it, he goes on a ride on a self-driving car, and kind of he does this whole Eddie Burback thing where he kind of chronicles the surrealism of the entire experience.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there like, all the technology that goes into an AI car, right? There's a ridiculous amount of technology that goes into that, of programming, right? And I'm like, it's in service of a shit taxi that doesn't save you any money. All that it does is save the company a salary, which is what they want. That's the point, obviously. And I'm just like, this is what it's in service for. It's just like bad services done by machines for now. Like, you said you're from New York City, right?
Yeah.
New York City, people from New York City and Buenos Aires have a lot of, we are brothers and sisters in arms. We are the most psychoanalyzed cities in the world. And we have extremely colorful taxi drivers, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would never replace the experience of the Buenos Aires cab driver, as misogynist as some of them can be. I would not replace that with an AI.
Because
you know what I mean? It's like, an AI, I will never have the experience with an AI of getting home and them assuming from my slightly lapsed accent that I'm a tourist and trying to give me the runaround. And I'm like, no, you go straight down Libertadores. I'm from here. All right, don't you fucking, but
it's just
no,
like,
but it's just,
it's like, how to say, corporations only seem to embrace like technologies in a way that will make them money and not necessarily like geez, where was I going with this? Like,
Oh, don't worry. I'm losing my train of thought a lot because I'm tired. So
yeah,
that's gonna happen.
it's like
It's okay.
like you look at all these advancements being made with generative AI and like, you know, corporations trying to like replace the work of artists. Like, you know, a particular thing
Yeah.
that I keep going back to is like AI jazz artists being uploaded onto Spotify and just like
Oh, bro.
all the like same like slow low tempo like piano jazz that's being circulated from that. And like, where is that money going? Who's uploading this shit? Like, is it Spotify? Are they trying to like get a cut of their own royalties? Like,
Some fucking it's just like I watched there's this channel that's gone very popular that is like, it's supposed to be, oh, look at this fucked up record from the 30s, right?
oh yeah,
And it turns out not only are they all obviously bits and jokes and not real, but also the music, which sounds authentic, because it even has like the degradation of a record, you know what I
right,
mean?
yeah.
It sounds old, and it has all these made-up lyrics that are really funny, and you think, oh, maybe this is some lost record. The idea is like you come up on one of these videos. This is some lost record of some very absurdist song that someone made in the 30s.
Yeah,
It's all AI generated. It's all AI generated, and I had to block the channel. I was so disappointed because at the very least, right? If you're gonna fake out, oh, I'm doing an album from the 30s or 40s,
yeah.
it sounds like, if you're doing that as a human being and you tricked me into believing that it was real, that's fine. But the moment you put an AI into it, I'm just like, what are we doing here?
It's far cooler if you do that yourself authentically, you know.
Yeah. You know, I don't know how to. I know more than the average person
My
about
God.
audio production. Not a lot still,
There
but
was
and I'm like, yeah.
well, there was this one guy I remember a long time ago. Well, hold on a second. It's okay. Billy Cobb. He's made some musical shitposts in the past, and I think he's also made very like Weezer-esque music. I remember like back in the day listening to. He did like this song parody 4 years ago called "It's Okay to Leave a Dog in a Hot Car" by the Beatles. And you know, like the first 30 seconds is like him parodying like the 1960s style of the Beatles, and then for the rest of the video is like, I think like a 1971 like clip of John Lennon with his voice dubbed over it, like being like, oh, I don't know, we were all like kids at the time, and and then like and like Paul McCartney, I think it's like 30 years later, saying something like, oh yeah, John always hated dogs. Fucking. That's the sort of creativity that comes when somebody, you know, a human is allowed to just riff off of an idea. You know, like those AI song parodies, yeah, they're like cute for a little bit, and like, you know, it might be fun to use them in like a sample. Like I know like that BBL Drizzy thing that was going around Twitter that like Metro Boomin made, that was partly an AI sample that was taken from, but I don't know. It's just like there's so much gray area with regards to how AI could be used for music that I don't know. I
feel. Yeah, sorry.
I far prefer to just be my own musician at this point, and you know, wait for the dust to settle on all that. Make sure all the real scammy people go down first.
Ugh. Yeah. The problem is that they're just pushing it really hard, the tech companies, and a lot of times it's not even because they're seeking to replace people. It's because of the the problem. Okay, literally the problem with the world right now, if I'm gonna boil it down to one thing, aside from capitalism, but that's the easy answer. The problem is San Francisco Bay Area startup culture.
Oh my God.
That's the problem. That is the origin of it. That's why we have AI. That's why we had metaverse. That way we had NFTs, because everybody everybody missed out on inventing the smartphone
Oh my
or
god, yeah.
popularizing it, right? All of these tech companies, that were active at the time, like Microsoft, has been stabbing itself in the hand in anger for years at the fact that they didn't popularize smartphones, but like Apple did it. And I'm not giving Apple any credit. I use an Android because
Yeah.
I like being able to use my phone the way I want it, and not the way that a dead man wants it.
Right,
wants me
right.
to,
Yeah.
So, but that is kind of the problem, because it's this entire culture of like, we need to invent something new that will make us $1 million. And that's how you invent, for example, Uber, which already was destroying the taxi systems all over the world and has to start getting banned because it's
Right.
actually so bad for people, right? And that it's startup culture. Uber is a startup culture. We
Yeah.
have a company, a taxi company that doesn't own any cars, so we don't have to maintain them,
You know,
and that cuts a lot of the cost.
it's funny. I remember ages ago I used to volunteer at this one archive somewhere in Manhattan, and they were they were like an archive of like recent pop culture in the past few decades or what have you. They had a lot of memorabilia, a lot of records. And I remember one day, like, doing, like, the volunteer cataloging that I was doing, and, like, because it's a very, like, it's not a private collection, but a lot of, they're not open to the public, and, they're supported a lot by private donors. I remember one day as I was doing my cataloging, just, like, the head of the archive coming up with this other guy and introducing him as the fucking CEO of Uber, and I was just like, huh. Okay.
Wow. All
Just
right.
like a fucking guy there to, give like philanthropically to this, music archive. And I'm just like, all right, dude, chill.
Oh, wow. Okay. Jeez.
But, I mean,
Very
it's funny that, they build these huge, these huge apps that, are racing to the bottom to exploit the people that actually make it functional, right? And then here they are being like these major philanthropic people, supporting the arts and whatnot to, trying to distract you from that. Tale as old as time.
Yeah. That tell us all this time, but also right now it's accelerated because these companies have a lot of money and a lot of shareholders that are unhappy that sometimes the money, there's less of the money because a lot of people don't have jobs because the economy has not been doing that amazing.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
need to invent something new that we can push. I've been looking to buy a new phone, right? Which I'm not. I don't need a new phone. I just like tech. I'm probably not gonna do it because I can't afford it. But
Yeah.
the phone that I want, that I would get ideally if I had infinite money, one of the big features that I don't care at all about, it's one of the Samsung Galaxies from the new generation. They're like, oh, Galaxy AI is here. Look at all these Galaxy AI features. It has a stronger chip that can do Galaxy AI, blah blah, all this kind of shit.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, bro, I just like the phone because it folds in half. I like it because it takes up less room in my pocket. I like it because it has a lot of cool features around that. I don't care about your stupid word salad generator.
Those foldable phones look interesting to me. Like, personally, I don't trust them enough right now to not, break in half on me, but they remind me a lot of those Game Boy Advance SPs back in the day, and that's a lot of fun.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that's one of the superficial reasons why I want it, because like I recently bought myself like a little, all those like emulator consoles that you can get.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I got there's this company that makes a lot of them, a lot of the really popular ones called Ambernick.
Oh,
it's a
nice.
Chinese company, and they made one. They all have terrible names because they're all basically model numbers.
Oh,
This
yeah.
one is called the RG35 XXSP.
Oh my god.
Fucking stupid. But the SP is important because it basically looks like a slightly fat Game Boy Advance SP. When you compare it side to side, it's slightly bigger, but not to the point that you would, like, if you see someone with it in public, you'll for a moment think that it's a GBA. And it's fantastic. You can play up to PS1. It's extremely good. And I was like, what if my phone was also like this, a little click, a little flip,
Yeah, totally.
But also, I don't really leave the house that much because I'm disabled. So why you know.
Hey, yeah, I mean,
I don't necessarily need to, a new phone, and my phone is a pretty good one. So like,
hey,
I
if
just I just watch too much tech YouTube, man.
gotta
That's
you
it.
gotta get around planned obsolescence somehow.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so, you were recently you were a part of a group for the longest time called Gattai Universe, I believe.
Gattai Universe, yeah.
How was your experience with them? Yeah, I know you graduated recently. How how now
Yeah.
that you're on the other side of that, how are you feeling now?
Just to clarify a couple of things.
Of course, of
I've not
course.
been using the word graduation just because people tend to think that you're gonna stop
Oh, right,
streaming.
right.
No, and I'm not. I'm continuing.
Yeah.
Um, it's been about 22 hours and 27 minutes since I left the group officially. So because I officially left today, so
Okay.
I did that stream. The stream ended at 11 p.m. my time, and then at about 2 a.m. I got taken off. I got taken off the private chats on the server, and then my section of the server was archived of the Discord.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was good. So Gattai was a group that we founded in 2022. Me
Mhm.
and my friends Chuchu, Sono, and Captain Hurricane,
Right.
and we founded it because we had been that was about like 6 months of streaming,
Mm.
and we founded it because like at the time we had a group chat. Isn't that how some of the best and worst things in the world start
Oh,
with a
Lord.
group chat?
Yeah.
And we were talking a lot because like we were all like older than the average VTuber. We were all in like 30s. Well, I'm 41 now,
Mhm,
and just like, oh, look at all the drama people are getting into. Look at all this. Look at all that, and and just having a safe place away from the public where we could just like vent about shit
yeah,
or
yeah.
dare to criticize a major VTuber, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And eventually we were like, hey, what about we just make our own VTuber group just like for shits and giggles, have a brand. We all kind of like tokusatsu, Kamen Rider, that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And we started, and that was just it. We did a few events together. We them that were pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably the best things that we did were our cover of Diamond City Lights
Yeah.
and the trial of Captain Hurricane, which was a big stream we did last year where we put Captain Hurricane on trial in the style of Phoenix Wright, and we had it made so that like it was not pre-recorded, and we were like live transitioning between all the different people, and we had like all the camera pans that you get in Phoenix Wright and the objection and all that.
Oh, that's
We sorted
awesome.
all of that out. All of that out technically with the magic of the Stream Deck and
Mm.
OBS, and it went fantastic. And it's available on YouTube. So it was good. We had fun times. We had a second generation debut at the beginning of the year where we just brought in some more of our friends,
Neat.
and then a couple of that generation about 6 months later left because it was a Plushy Pixie who is now in Maids of England,
All right.
and her husband Courage Gel, who just went where the wife went.
Mhm.
But it was overall a positive experience. It was very interesting because we were always like not an agency. People sometimes thought that we were an agency.
Right,
I feel
right.
like a lot of our VTuber friends who maybe were smaller or had started more recently, they would look up to us and they were like, oh, what are they doing, whatever. And the reality is we're just a bunch of dorks who made things together, and it was a good experience. At times frustrating because like we were doing pretty well, but this year we had a couple of like conflicts within the group that were resolved, and it's fine.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's kind of just what happens in any group of people. And it was overall good, but it was not like being in an agency. It was not like
Yeah.
we didn't have management, we didn't have a plan, everybody was doing their own thing. That's kind of the reason why I left. In part is that like there isn't a direction in the group, and that's by design. That's kind of
Right,
like
right.
what we wanted. And I was like, I'm going in a specific direction. If I'm going to be in a group, I need to be the group to have direction, and I wouldn't impose that direction on Gattai
Right.
because like the whole point is that we all do our own thing and come together when we want.
Absolutely.
Um, which is lovely, and we have our own there's like this wonderful community that we
Yeah,
formed
yeah.
around it. So yeah, so it was a good experience. I would say, like, for any growing VTuber, it's very common to join a group and then leave it. A lot of VTubers that I know have done it.
Yeah.
I thankfully have left it in good circumstances, where I'm on speaking terms with people and everything is fine and there's no big falling out, and that's the most ideal scenario, because a lot of these groups end badly. There's drama,
Yeah.
and that's happened a lot.
I
Very
really
publicly with some
do
events, yeah.
respect, the VTuber groups, the smaller ones that, come together and are able to really stand the test of time like that. Like
Yeah.
I can't fathom the amount of times I've seen like a small VTuber agency or group on Twitter, and then like I hear nothing from them of note, or they're just liking, posts on the EN VTuber tag or whatever, and it's like,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of respect for those who are actually able to, stick it out and try to do something ambitious, like.
Yeah, we were able to do some ambitious things together as a group, but also because everyone has got their own thing going, because of time zone differences, because of like availability and disability and all this kind of stuff, it was kind of very hard to organize people together. And that's not a complaint.
Yeah.
That's not a complaint aimed at anybody. That's just kind of the nature of it.
That's
But it
just
also meant that-
VTubing.
It's just VTubing. It's just like doing things as a group. But it did make things much harder.
Right.
Because I wanted to do bigger events. I wanted to do a lot of stuff like that.
Mhm.
And we had a lot that were left in the inkwell that never really made it. And that's, again, that's fine. It's okay.
Right.
I am doing this thing for different reasons than some people in Gattai are.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, some people in Gattai are just like hanging out. Some people are just like, it's a place to express themselves. And it's all of that for me, but also for me, I do see content creation as like a professional thing
Mhm.
as much as I want, as much as I can.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I want to do moving forward. I want to do big projects. I want to do big things.
Right. So
So will I be able to do it? Who knows?
Yeah.
But
So, like, yeah, what do you hope to do as an indie? Are you nervous to leave your friends sort of behind like that, or are you more so optimistic about your future?
I'm kind of not. I'm not nervous because like I know that I can collaborate with them at any
Yeah,
time.
not to
I talk
phrase
to
it
them
like
every
you're
day.
leaving them behind.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But it's more like I have some thoughts about where I want to go. Like, I definitely want something I've been wanting to do for a year, but again, fatigue and other stuff gets in the way. Is moving to making video essays.
oh, nice.
Yeah. Which is why I love that there's other video essay VTubers like yourself. There's oh my god, I always forget her name.
Katie?
She's like sorry,
Katie?
is it Katie?
Katie and Catburger. That's that's another
Cat-
that's another friend of mine. I don't know if you know her. She does
No.
some pretty cool video essays about like video game topics.
No, I'm thinking about. There's this wonderful trans VTuber. She makes videos. She made one about a wandering sun.
Oh, I don't think I'm familiar. I'll have to.
Let me. I'm gonna try and find it. But
Yeah, if you do, just shoot me something on
Yeah.
Discord or whatever.
yeah, we'll do. But she's wonderful. She makes a lot of really good video essays.
Neat.
And oh, here it is. Yeah, it's Ricky Hirsch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ricky Hirsch. She's wonderful. Her work is wonderful. So I want to move into that. I have had a lot of ideas for video essays for a while.
Nice.
Yeah, Ricky Hirsch. She did one about Wandering Sun. She's done a lot of trans ones
Mhm.
that are really good. I'm just gonna message you her.
Totally.
And I really want to move into that space. I've
Mhm.
been wanting to do it for years, and the big thing that holds me back is fatigue.
Oh yeah.
It's like that's the thing that I can't plan for, and I do like streaming.
Yeah.
I miss streaming when I don't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna. My plan is probably from now is I'm gonna try to stream less and try to try to I might do some work streams because those benefit me because of my ADHD.
Right.
But like
Yeah.
I really want to, create quite a few. I have like they're mainly gonna be about like anime, like deep dives into anime
Yeah. Yeah.
and manga, anime and manga.
Mhm.
There's I think a lot of interesting stuff. I can already tell you my first one's gonna fucking bomb because it's gonna be about a manga nobody's heard of. But that's the point. I want people to know about this manga.
Hey, when
You
you're a small creator on YouTube, honestly, I feel like you're in a space where you can just kind of do whatever and like
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
get your footing there. Because once
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
really catch on, you're gonna want people to go back on your channel and see like all those early videos. It's good to have a long tail rather than to constantly be pumping out shit every week. At least I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like I want to I have like so many ideas, some that I've promised for a while, and I really want to kind of get on there. I also have like written some skits that I want to try and do for TikTok and shorts. Well, I don't watch a lot of TikTok, but I watch a lot of shorts. And I enjoy it. I got a lot because I have a background in stand-up comedy, so I like really love seeing comedians and seeing skits.
Okay,
on
yeah,
there. I'm like, I can do that as a VTuber. I can definitely do that as a VTuber. I've written out a couple. It's just a matter of like sitting down and doing them when I'm not like, oh, right now I'm trying to like put a lot of stuff on eBay.
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
have to cook, it's
Yeah,
today I have to go to the
yeah.
shop. That's gonna wipe me out for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's kind of the problem. But yeah, that's kind of my ambition. I want to do some. There's a lot of people I want to collab with, which I could have collabed with them before. I've collabed with people outside of Gattai
Mm-hmm.
very, very commonly. But also, I feel like because I was in Gattai, a lot of people may not have approached me for collabs and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So,
Do you have any?
that's kind of some of the stuff, yeah.
Do you have any dream collabs?
I do have some. I do have some people that I'm in talks to collab with.
Oh, neat.
I have like some friends.
Very
and
neat.
I mean dream collabs, not like
Yeah.
like what, like if we're talking unrealistic dream collabs.
Yeah,
right?
like
Like I think right now it would be Scarla from Niji Sanji.
Oh,
would be
nice.
which she would never do because I don't think she really does external collabs.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's extremely shy. She literally is like kind of really, really reserved, and so like I doubt it. But I like her a lot. I was in her
Yeah.
chat last night because she builds Gampla. I built Gampla. I love her. She's
She
extremely sweet, and she's a girl failure like myself. I'm a fucking failure, man.
she is such an interesting person and an incredible entertainer too. Like just
Incredible.
her streams are always they always go somewhere you don't expect.
And she does them for so fucking long, bro. They're so long.
Yeah,
Like literally, she was doing her Gampla stream was like 24 hours. She ended up going for like 19, but we're not gonna,
Oh my god.
we're not gonna be narcs about it. But she went to bed. I was like, after a back and forth for a while, I was like, okay, good night. I go to bed. Lovely to talk to you. And then I woke up and she was still live, and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? And she was like super sleepy. She was like, hi, Maru, I'm still building. And I'm like, oh, sweetheart,
man.
this is why you live on Red Bull, isn't it?
God. Yeah, I wish I could better appreciate those Gunpla streams. I respect the hobby. I'm far more of a Lego and nanoblock man myself.
Fair. That's absolutely fair. It's not necessarily for everybody. I really enjoyed. I shocked her chat by telling them how long I've been building Gampla for. Because I've been building. This is gonna make me sound like I'm some kind of legendary builder. I promise you, I'm a scrub. I've been building Gampla for 25 years.
Hey, I mean, that
doesn't mean that I have 25 years worth of Gampla in my house.
Yeah.
But I started building in like 1999.
There you go.
Yeah, and I'm still. You know what? A lot of kits, I just snap them together. I'm just trying to have I'm here for a good time, not a long time, man.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to. I mean, sometimes I go ham, I do custom page jobs, I do all the fancy shit. But like, also, I'm just here to hang out.
Yeah. No, I feel
No.
that. I feel that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I super love Gunpla. I love the customization that you can do. I love, yeah. And now we have a video game that just came out, Gundam Breaker 4,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
where you can do that in a video game. So it's
Wow.
pretty great. Yeah.
That sounds like it has incredible potential for monetization.
Yeah, yeah. I made that Pomu custom
Oh,
that
yeah.
that I've shared about around. Like I made an initial version, and then I made an improved version for her graduation, which sadly I don't know if she saw at the time. She probably did, but Pomu definitely knows who I am. Sorry, Mint. Mint definitely knows who I am. I met her at the expo.
Oh,
So,
nice, nice.
I go say hello, and I was like, I'm the person that did that, and person that DM'd you, that did a super chat about PopCap, because I used to work at PopCap.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the one that gave you a super chat about Peggle, and she totally knew who I was, which is great. I'm like,
There
she
you
knows who
go.
I am. That's great. But I was talking to Scarlett last night, and and she was like, oh, wouldn't she was saying, because I mentioned that, and she was like, oh, that's really cool that you made that custom, and she was saying it would be really cool if someone made a custom mobile suit in Scarlet colors. And when she said that, I was like, making just painting a mobile suit, painting a Gunpla, compared to making the full custom that was Pomu, which is like a full paint job and
Yeah,
custom
yeah.
parts, right? And a lot of labor to try to get everything together. Just painting a Zaku in Scarlet colors.
Hey, there you go. That's your next stream project.
That's like a couple of days work. That's not gonna take me months. The only thing that would be difficult is I would want to get, she has like that tartan pattern in her skirt.
Oh, yeah.
Like I will try to find a way to get that. You can't get that out of a spray can, sadly.
Oh, yeah.
So I need to figure that out.
Right.
To do a tartan, which I should, because I'm in Scotland. So
There you go.
yeah.
Have you done much singing? I know you did the Diamond City Lights cover, but do you have additional plans to, continue doing like song covers or even original songs?
Yes, absolutely. I have so far ever released 2 covers. One is hidden in my Twitch because I recorded it badly, and my mixer struggled to make it sound good. It was not on me. It was not on her. It was 100% on me.
Yeah.
I do want to release more covers.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been practicing my singing recently because I'm dealing with like some manner of a jaw problem.
That's fair.
Which the doctor cannot identify, and I'm on a waiting list to figure out what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And also kind of my voice has gone a bit. I again don't really know what it is.
Yeah.
Because my chronic fatigue comes from long COVID, and so I get exciting weird new pains. Also, I'm 41, so that kind of happens.
Right,
But
right.
I do want to do. I have an original song that's been written and kind of ready for a couple of years. I just need to tighten up the lyrics a bit and finally record it. And I want to do that before my re-debut. I'm gonna re-debut with a new model. It's gonna be either very late this year, like we're talking like end of December,
Right.
or early next year, whenever I commission a new model, whenever that new model is ready.
Nice.
So yeah, so we're gonna see what happens with that. But I want that cover to be out before then, because the cover represents me. It doesn't even represent where I'm at now. It represents where I was kind of like a couple of years ago. But I want to get it done because not cover the original song.
Right.
I want to get it done as a big thing before I re-debut, and then I can move on to do an original song that's more me now. I do want to do a lot of covers. I want to cover mainly. I really want to cover old anime songs.
Oh, yeah.
And old Tokusatsu songs, because not only is it it's something that I love dearly, but it's also my strongest genre.
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
My voice is deeper, and so while I love idol music and stuff like that, I can't reach those levels a lot of time. But a lot of these songs from like 70s anime and Tokusatsu, 70s and 80s, are sung by very manly men with very deep voices, and I can make that sound femme and pretty.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
have a good one. So we'll see. I want to do it. Whether I will be able to do it, But the original song is coming. That's on the list. That has to happen this year. I said that last year. It will happen this year.
There you go. So you've got skills in arrangement and production, or are you also are you also working with friends?
Absolutely not. I can edit a podcast to make it not sound like absolute trash. I know a little bit of like, the quick and dirty compressor, blah, to make the voice pop. Remove background noise, stuff like that. All that stuff I can do. The stuff you need to edit a podcast or to edit a really, really fucking absolutely bare bones vocal track.
Yeah.
And then give it to someone to mix it. So I have my friend Skylarka does my mixing for she did City Lights.
Oh yeah.
And she also composed my theme song, which I don't sing, she sings it.
Oh yeah.
Which is fantastic. It was a birthday present from this year, and it's fantastic, and I will keep that will never go away. It's when I rebranded, which I wanted to do with when I got the new model, but I couldn't afford a new model at the time, and I had to rebrand for several practical reasons. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a delinquent punk because that's kind of more me. And I changed whatever intro music I had to something kind of some generic punk stuff.
Oh yeah.
That didn't really sound that punk. It was just some generic music. And Skylarka, like myself, is not ex-punk. We're still punks, whatever, punk, etc. And Skylarka is a bona fide professional music producer. She literally does music production streams. She has been in touring punk bands.
Oh, nice.
She's fantastic. And so she just like did this entire song, and it's really, really good. This is how talented she is, right? That stream, my birthday stream this year in March, where she gifted me that. A different friend of mine gifted me a Cameo. You know Cameo, Rezzy? You know Cameo?
Aren't they collapsing?
I don't really know, but they gifted me a Cameo, Rezzy. Do you know who my friends got to record a Cameo for me?
Some Tokyo actor?
No, my favorite MILF from reality TV show MILF Manor. Listen, I'm fucked in the head, okay? We don't have time to scrutinize that. But I got that, and the lady that recorded it, she has a very weird cadence in it, and it's really funny. And my friends requested that she say that I'm her favorite VTuber, and instead of that, she said "Best of luck on your career," and it became a meme in my community. And we were just like joking about like, oh, it'd be really funny if there was like an EDM remix of this. And while we were on the stream with Skylarka on a call, like, well, Skylarka left the call. She was like, oh, I have something to do. Came back an hour later and was like, Maru, here's your EDM remix of this.
Oh my God.
Of this video. That's how amazing she is. And it's a bona fide banger that gets stuck in your head.
Sometimes the most, I found that like VTuber music producers seem to be the most like consistently motivated when it comes to making like musical shit posts. Like
it's so good.
It's not
Skylarka, yeah.
It's not just your friend. Like what was it? A guest I had on sometime before then. I think it was before you. I think it was like Blackjack. He did like this remix of like somebody being scared of like a spider into like a metal track. Like it's always fun to I guess have in jokes like that.
Oh, it's great. Even before Skylarka became a VTuber, she was already doing these shit post songs that are extremely good. She's extremely talented and hilarious. And you see it a lot. Like, do you remember? Do you ever catch that that shitpost song someone did where they did like a text to speech that sounded like Pomu? They just found one that sounded like Pomu, and they did that song. Why VTuber Why?
Oh my
God!
God!
Catch that one?
No, I don't think so.
Oh God! No, because like I don't know if you know about that time that
Oh, I
she
know
was
the Y
listening.
VTuber Y copy
Yeah,
pasta. I just didn't know they made like a remix of it.
yeah, because yeah, when she was like, "Oh, why won't VTuber do as I say?" and stuff like because she said that on stream,
Yeah, yeah.
like we were just playing a puzzle game, and it was really funny. And then someone made a song, you know, and I think it was also like, hang on a second, it was like a mashup as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's an extremely good song. Hang on, give me a moment.
No problem. No problem.
It was oh, it doesn't say. It doesn't say, but I know that. Oh, hang on, no. This is just the fucking clip. This is not the song. Okay, there we go. This is the part. Yeah, the party song by Anoyatsu. Oh yeah. It's do you know what it is? It's based on "Love the Way You Lie" by Eminem featuring Rihanna.
Oh, that's fun.
Made with a Vocaloid. Yeah. It's fucking good. It's fucking good. Just gonna sit here and watch you play.
Vocaloid's really having a moment recently, isn't it? Aren't
Yeah.
they? I mean, Vocaloid
Yeah.
usually has a moment on the internet. Like, I've seen God knows how many Hatsune Miku memes in my however long I've been, a
Yeah.
person on the internet. But just like, I don't know why, like, Brazilian Miku really seems to have
Oh, it took off.
captured the
It
internet's
absolutely
collective
took off.
imagination. And now you have
know-
now you have
Yeah.
regional Mikus, album art Mikus, animal Mikus, like
Yeah. Do you know how I found out about? I found out about Brazilian Miku in the most Argentinian way possible. People linking me to Argentinian Miku, which Argentinian artists made in response to Brazil Miku, because as the second biggest country in South America, in Latin America actually. As the second biggest country in Latin America, we have anything Brazil does, we have to show that we can do it. Right? They can have a sexy girl failure Brazilian Miku. We have to have sexy girl failure Argentinian Miku. So like when I went looking for Mikus, I found probably as many like Argentinian Mikus as any other nationality.
Oh my God.
It was fantastic.
That's
It was
great.
real good. Yeah. And we like there's so many varieties. The classic Argentinian Miku, she's wearing the Argentina football shirt,
Yeah,
But then we have like a lot of different ones, like Gaucho Miku, like
Mhm.
traditional dress Miku.
and
There's
that's been
so
really
many
fun
Mikus.
too, seeing like the
Yeah.
specific like regional Mikus that people will make of like, different areas in their countries. That's as somebody who there was like one design in particular. There was like Midwest Miku, and like I'm not from the Midwest or anything like that, but like seeing like like goth girlfriend indie artist Miku, that's like really, it's really fun.
Yeah.
I like. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I I don't know. Like especially with like all those album art Mikus, like it really gets your imagination jogging. Like, what if people like covered like different songs with vocal, like I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah.
I admit I'm not as well versed in the whole like Vocaloid scene. I'm familiar with Vocaloid. I'm not a Vocaloid fan by any means, but
Yeah, I'm not. I'm only a bit familiar.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
it's cool
it is really cool though.
it's cool to see, this continued cultural exchange with a vocal synthesizer,
Yeah.
with a program you can ostensibly take into a DAW and like make it, an original composition out of.
That's something that I really would like. Like I would say, like, if it wasn't for my ADHD pulling me in a million directions, I really would love to make some music myself. The only thing I ever did was I used a very, very basic chiptune composer to make a cover of Megalovania,
Oh yeah.
which was a lot of fun. And I have a keyboard and everything. I have like a couple of guitars,
Yeah.
but I never became super good at it. I grew up in a very musical household with a caveat. So
yeah.
my father is a classical musician, and he's like, my dad is a bit of a genius. Don't tell him that. Don't want him to know I'm gassing him up. But he's a bit of a genius. He's also fucking insufferable and annoying as hell. Hi, Dad. But basically, he plays his favorite instrument is the harpsichord. I don't know if it's his best, but it's his favorite.
Oh yeah.
Probably his best at this point. He also plays. He has been hired to play church organ at weddings.
So like virtuosic key player, basically.
Very much. But he also plays like clarinet,
Oh, neat.
flute as well. Not a string instrument person, but like he would play like flute, clarinet, oboe,
Wow.
and harpsichord, piano, and church organ.
That's neat.
Yeah, no, that I have bro, I have so many stories of my dad's exciting musical adventures. My dad is a total character. By
Yeah.
which I mean he's an undiagnosed autistic in his 70s.
Oh, geez.
Which is that's not an insult, by the way. That's
yeah,
just,
yeah. No, that's
I
that's
fucking love him.
that's how
Yeah.
that's how autistic people were back then, I guess.
Yeah, like he's a white middle class guy. People were just like he's eccentric, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody's diagnosing anybody as autistic in 1950s Argentina, man.
Yeah.
Nobody's
yeah.
doing that. So, so I did grow up with a lot of music, and so I grew up listening to a lot of Baroque music. Is his area of special interest. He can never get enough of that good Johann Sebastian,
Yeah.
that good Haydn, that good Handel,
Mhm.
But there's a couple of caveats there. First of all, my dad's not very big on opera, which I consider a character failure because opera fucking owns. Opera fucking owns, dude.
I agree.
Opera owns. My favorite opera. Do you have a favorite opera?
Jeez, it's been a long time. I remember, I used to go. I studied abroad in Vienna like years ago, and I had access to like their state opera house. They used to do these like standing room shows where for €5, you could go real early, sit in the line, get a cheap ass ticket, and like watch from like the upper balconies, like these expertly crafted like opera productions. I don't know if I explicitly have a favorite opera, although I do remember really loving like Peter Grimes when I went to go see that. Like, that was literally like I think the day before we I started leaving the city.
My favorite opera is Carmen.
Oh, nice.
Really love it. I've seen it twice. I can't remember what other operas I've seen because it has been a minute since I've seen them live.
Yeah,
But no,
yeah.
the last production of Carmen that I saw was a really fascinating one. That was here in Glasgow, and it was translated into English, and they had transposed the story of Carmen, which it always happened in Spain, obviously. They transposed it to Spain during the Civil War.
Oh,
during the Civil War, between the Franco Nationalists and the Republic, and it really works. It really works because like the changes are like relatively minor, and it's fascinating. And at first I was like, oh, I'm disappointed that it's not in French, but at the same time, it was so well performed. It was so well put together. It's such a good production.
Dude,
that, I'm like, oh man, I wish I could have a recording of it because it's so good.
Some stagings of operas are just crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's like one of the operas I saw in Vienna was actually a production of like, what was it? Was it a Gluck opera? Gluck opera. Yeah, I think it was like Christopher Willibald Gluck. I think it was one of his operas. It was like Orpheus and Eurydice. They had like this giant like metal sort of like platform almost. Like it was like a great thing like constructed on the stage where everybody was acting on. It was a very I want to say, abstract, but it was, definitely very out there in terms of, what they were going for.
But yeah, I've gotten sidetracked talking about opera because I love opera.
It's all good.
And I take any excuse to talk about it. Incidentally, I also really like Nabucco, but I've never managed to watch it. I love singing Va Pensiero, which is a very beautiful song about the enslavement of like the Hebrew slaves.
Right.
It's and their lament. It's just it's beautiful. It's touching. I love singing it.
Yeah.
I never trained as an opera singer, by the way. I'm like very amateurly trained. Like a friend of mine singing, who's a classical musician, trained me a bit.
That's neat.
But the caveat that I said, like, so there was a lot of love for music in my house, but it was very specific music because anything modern in my house was considered to be basically noise, essentially. My mother was kind of the same. My mom came from a working class background, and she kind of really wanted to. For her, it was like an aspirational thing to be able to have access to high culture, which she couldn't. Which wasn't allowed, not by her family or anything, but by social class and money. So it's totally understandable. My parents were kind of happy when, as a teenager, I developed an interest in tango, which I love. I love tango. Tango to English speakers is understood as a dance, and the dance is part of it.
Right.
There is dance. It's usually not as acrobatic as what we do for the tourists. That's for you guys. That's for the gringos. I'm sorry. Traditional tango is a bit less acrobatic, but tango as a music genre is, I would argue, I would say everyone would argue that knows anything about it, is as a music genre, it's much more important. Because, for example, one thing that a lot of people don't know outside of like, in the English-speaking world, people don't realize most tango has lyrics that are about things, and the things that tango are about, I mean, they're very often about like, oh, my love left me, oh, my love died, whatever. But it's also like, oh, I'm a poor Polish immigrant and I went back home after 50 years and everything is changed and I'm also old and I'm sad and I miss my beloved. It's a lot of immigrant songs and it's beautiful. I love singing it. Absolutely love singing it. Might put out I'm announcing it now. Why don't I put out a cover? a cover of some tango, man. Naranjo en Flor, fucking Volver.
Absolutely, get that Argentinian rep out there.
Fucking love tango, man. There's a lot of but that was acceptable to my parents, but like rock music, nah, that's not okay. To this day, they like, if you asked either of my parents what hip hop or rap is, like they might be able to tell you what rap is,
man,
and they wouldn't tell you in a way that, let's just say, my parents can be ignorant about.
You know
what I mean? And like, so my parents never developed a like for that. The closest that I got is that my mom really liked a lot of like Brazilian singer-songwriters, a lot of like Argentinian, Uruguayan, Chilean singer-songwriters of her time, who are either very, very chill or sing beautiful songs about how communism is good.
Yeah. It's
because that's the vibe in my house. That was the vibe in my house.
Quite the tradition of neo-folk down there, huh?
Yeah. So well, it's not even neo. It's just folk
revivalists.
Traditional,
I guess.
Yeah. There's a lot of tradition of that. So, God, I could talk for hours about tango, man. I can talk to you for hours.
I would, but, I honestly, I really do appreciate Latin American music. I really do wish that I had time to dive into a lot more of it personally.
Yeah.
Like, I'll see these playlists every now and then on like YouTube of like chill, like Brazilian music, for instance, or like Brazilian funk or stuff like that. And it's just like, incredible stuff that they made down there.
Yeah. For tango, I kind of like all eras of tango. Tango has had basically three general waves. You could kind of atomize it a bit more than that.
Right.
But as an easy shorthand, it's had three general waves. We're currently in the third one. As far as I know, which has been going for like 20 years now. But basically, you had the original mainstream popularization of it, where you had in the like 20s, 30s, 40s, where you had like a lot of like you even had Argentinian actors in Hollywood or
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood productions of Argentinian films, like Hollywood produced Argentinian films, I should say, with
Mm.
like well-known singers, and that's like the very classic kind of golden age of tango with the best tango singer of all time, Carlos Gardel,
Mm.
who, I am sorry, mom. My mom's from Uruguay. I'm sorry, he's from Argentina. Okay. This is an argument that Argentinians and Uruguayans will have forever. Where was Gardel from? But and then you have like the second. Then it kind of died down and just became like, it's always in the background, at least in Buenos Aires, because the other thing that people forget, Argentina has a lot of other folk music that is not tango.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Tango is the folk music and it's the official folk music and dance of Buenos Aires, of the city of Buenos Aires. Now it's danced and sung all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's where I'm from. I'm from Buenos Aires, so it's from there. And but eventually kind of died down a bit. It was always in the background in Buenos Aires. Then in the 60s and 70s comes this guy Astor Piazzolla, right?
I've heard that name before.
Yeah, he's probably the most famous one to people outside of like the Spanish-speaking world, because he developed this. He called it New Tango, which is mixed. It's a mix of traditional tango instrumentations with bandoneon, accordion, all the classic stuff, with like rock and jazz. And he also did traditional tango as well, like new traditional tango songs that he composed and played or whatever. Incredibly prolific. Bad politics, but we don't need to get into that. It's fine. He's dead. It's whatever, you know.
Yeah.
He's been dead for a long time. But he completely revitalized tango, and he also brought it to new audiences, especially because a lot of his tango is instrumental, so it doesn't need the lyrics. Although, in my opinion, you do need the cultural context. Without the cultural context, it loses a lot.
Yeah.
So you get that. That's in the 60s and 70s, and there's like a lot of influence from that. Very jazzy, it's all really good. Still played everywhere. Astor Piazzolla, tremendous. And then in the 2000s and late 90s, the 2000s, you start getting the third wave of tango, which is like electronic tango. It's like a tango mixed with EDM, or just electronica, and you start getting like really great bands like Gotan Project, which is like a collaborative band with like French members or Argentinian members, whatever. You got Tanghetto, you got a bunch of others.
Yeah, I noticed you had a few of those in your favorite lists.
Yeah. I fucking love Tanghetto, so good. But yeah, so I told you I can go for a while about tango. I fucking love tango. I feel like I never know enough about tango. Like I need to learn more.
Hey, there you go. I mean, how to say, yeah, I don't know. I just need to sit down and better appreciate these music forms in general at some point, because there's this one musician that I'm familiar with, Jordi Griep. I don't know if you're familiar with Black Midi at all. They're a semi, I guess, underground act. Well, not so much anymore, but coming from the UK, they're very like.
Sure.
They were very, and Black Midi, I think they actually recently broke up, but, they were very, like, prog heavy, jazz rock heavy, very, sort of in that King Crimson tradition of progressive rock. I think I once likened them to, like, King Crimson, Primus, and, like, Frank Zappa getting together in a room and smoking crack or whatever. Very, very, very cool music. But the front man, Jordi Griep, he's like super into that sort of like Latin American like tango music. He's posted a lot about like Brazilian funk and all that sort of stuff. So like incorporating more and more of that influence, I feel like can only be beneficial to me. Like I, as a drummer, as a rhythmically minded person, like I love like listening to like a lot of Latin American music because it's so rhythmically minded, so I guess rooted in the feel of things rather than like the progression, like
yeah
like,
no it's
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's really good to get like more influences like under your wing and just like try to kind of work,
which is why,
work that into things.
like your parents' whole attitude of like not really liking rock or whatever. That's always, that sort of attitude to me, like nowadays, like, obviously back in the day, there was a lot more of a divide between highbrow and lowbrow culture. Nowadays, thank God, thanks to the internet, everything is like all in sort of one place now, and nobody's really there's not as many people that are afraid to like reach in and like really play with all sorts of different genres and like combine them and fuse all these different pieces together and create something new. That's what I really love. I love that we're in this age of like musical synthesis, I guess you could say, like either that or collage, or I don't know, just we're unafraid to play with our music or genres or mixed genres, like
yeah no, that's something that's good, and that is something that, as I was saying, I feel is in danger from the excessive policing of copyright, on the main platforms that we're in, because like, I mean, you know how easily the YouTube copyright system can be like played with, where people will claim, like to give you a very good example of this, my friend and former teammate in Gattai, Sonomi Khan, she has her own custom theme song.
Oh yeah,
it's really cool. It's this like cool instrumental that is meant to evoke like Super Sentai kind of Kamen Rider kind of theme songs, right?
Yeah,
really, really cool. Every time she uploads a VOD to YouTube, she gets a ping about it being like caught for copyright about this whatever song.
Oh my god.
And it's literally an original song. This is not even someone gaming the system. This is just the system is wrong because it recognized a riff.
The fucking AdSense
like,
spots, man.
A riff, man. Like, it's a riff. You can't fucking, I mean, you can probably copyright a riff. I don't fucking know, but you shouldn't be able to.
It just,
but
it's like, I don't know. It's such a shitty platform sometimes, YouTube. Like, I appreciate it, like, especially recently, a whole hell of a lot more than I do Twitch. Like, I've never much been a Twitch person, to be honest. Like, not that I have anything against Twitch VTubers, just like Twitch chatting culture feels like incredibly like foreign and perverse to me sometimes.
That's fair. I'm used to it by now, but it is fair.
Yeah,
it can be dreadful. It can be absolutely dreadful.
But just like YouTube, it feels sometimes like, especially with like their copyright problems and like the fact that their customer service is barely, competent. Like they can really fucking suck sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, what was I gonna say? But yeah, no, basically I like, when it comes to music in my house, like it's everything kind of art. Like my parents, even though they're not like right wing or anything, but my parents kind of like keep that traditional in that sense. Like they like classical music, they like theater, they like literature, like they don't like comic books and everything that I'm into, basically. But I do love those things. Like, so my parents can talk to me about them. Like, if my parents are like, hey, well, you're here, do you want to go to the opera? I'm like, sure, if you're paying.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Take me to the opera, man. Take me to the theater. Take me wherever, It's all good. Like, I appreciate all that stuff, but I also have my own stuff that they don't appreciate.
Yeah.
And that's, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's just like, I feel like we're living in a world now where we're finally losing those stigmas that come with like the types of media you consume, and I am all for it. I cannot I can't imagine myself living in a world where I would get, teased for liking, some highbrow thing on the one hand in one space, and then if I go to another, I get teased for liking, like a comic or whatever. Like it's I don't want to have to navigate like all those all those bullshit social structures. Just
And you know what? You know what it is as well, Racy? Like, can I ask you how old you are, if that's okay? If that's something you're happy sharing?
I'm I'm close to my 30s. I'm not quite there yet, but late 30s.
Well, like everybody's different, but what I will say is that in my experience, the older I get, the less bullshit I have time for.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's not like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. I mean, there is an aspect of it where, like, when you're dealing with bullshit, kind of your first reaction is like, I'm gonna die one day and this is a waste of my time. It's not even like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. It's more like you get so bored because you've also obviously the longer you're on this earth, the more bullshit you absorb, and the more you see it, and the more you're just like, I don't want any of this. So when people start doing stuff like that, like, you know, fandom wars, all that kind of stuff, I just tune out, because I'm just like, I do not have the internet. I used to argue, like, in my 20s, I was the first Twitter generation in my 20s, because Twitter has been around for ages, and I legitimately got into so many arguments with assholes on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Super massive arguments. And I had stopped by the time I became a VTuber. I have gotten in a couple since I became a VTuber, but a couple in 3 years is pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
You know, like, the moment that I realized that somebody's not engaging in good faith, or that it's not, or that even if they are, they're not in a place where they can learn the information that I have to give, I step away. Because like, no, like, unless the person is my friend, and that's a different thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, social media is something that I treat with extreme care, like that. And when I say something and someone steps to me, usually with a misinterpretation of what I said, I was like, oh, so you're saying this, whatever. I usually go like, if I respond at all, I'll go like, no, that's not what I'm saying.
something, pancakes, waffles.
Pancakes, waffles, exactly, you know. And it's just like, and it's the same with, like, you know, when I got into VTubing, I came from, like, I'm one of those people that watched a fuck ton of Hololive.
Oh, yeah.
And then decided to become a VTuber, which is hilarious because I don't watch Hololive anymore, really. I watch Kiara sometimes. But, so I was like, I have to maintain this pristine image. I have to do this super high-pitched voice. You know, I have to do that super high-pitched voice. I'm super cutesy and super lovely and sweet and whatever. And I am fucking lovely and fucking sweet in my fucking mind. But at some point, partway through my first year, I decided to kind of drop that. And it's slowly been evolving in a way where, like, yes, the character I portray, Maru Malandra, is a heightened version of myself. Definitely. There's definitely, like, you know, a performance aspect. I feel streaming is a performance.
Yeah.
That is a really cool thing. There's a lot of space for a lot of different things within that. And I definitely play things up. I definitely act. But also, I am much more me than I was back then when I thought I had to fit into a specific mold.
Yeah.
And I remember when, like, I mean, you still have a lot of people that are like, no politics in VTubing. And I'm not here to, like, you know, cover what the British government is doing, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But also, sometimes I want to say fuck the Tories.
My viewpoints are my own, you know. I don't care if, you know, people get pissy, you know, if I express sympathy with some sort of leftist cause. You know, if you want the version of history that doesn't involve me going into depth on the racism of discophobia, go to some other channel, you know.
You know, and like my thing also was that, like, for the first 6 months, this is really funny because it's such a part of my brand that I'm gay. That I'm like gay for girls. It's such a part of my brand. And the first 6 months, I, like, mentioned it a bit in passing or implied it, but I never outright said anything outright until, like, Pride Month, where I saw a lot of my friends doing it. I was like, you know what, fuck it. But like, I was literally, like, scared of even that. And now I'm just like, no, man, I'm gay. I think these things. And I'm not really constrained by what a VTuber is, quote unquote, supposed to do. And I actually know I have a lot of VTuber friends that do that kind of VTuber performance because it's what they want to do and it's what they're happy doing. And I love them. They're very good at it. But I am a 40-something mess of a woman.
Right.
who collects Transformers
Yeah,
and
yeah.
used to, go to dive bars to listen to punk bands.
Right.
I'm not like a cute cosplayer that started streaming one day. You know what I mean? Don't necessarily fit the mold of what people
Hey,
expect.
VTubers can be anything now.
It can be anything, absolutely. Um,
Hello,
But yeah,
Mrs.
so
DJB and Eden. I'm apologize if I don't get to all y'all in chat. I'm having a pretty engaging conversation, but
pretty good.
let's see.
I'm extremely engaging, chat.
Lyrics and melodies on the song's guitar progressions are no longer considered to be original. Interesting. I feel like there's a lot of really good guitar riffs that still have yet to be written. I don't know how familiar you are with the band King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, for instance, but just
I have heard that name, but I've never listened to them.
oh my god, they are insane. They're one of my favorite bands today because they're a rock band that still somehow manages to keep things fresh, even when rock is now like this 70-year-old genre, right?
Yeah.
You all have
Yeah.
4 viewers who I'm talking to? Yeah, and there are 4 viewers who I'm chilling with,
Yeah. We have 4 viewers today. We have 100 viewers tomorrow, bro. To what you're talking. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Eden, I've been on the front page of Twitch, bro. You can't step to me. I've literally streamed to hundreds of people. But also streaming to 4 people is just as valid. I don't want to invalidate that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
no.
I just flex because people think that us on the small side are just like small timers sometimes, and I get defensive about that because
yeah,
I guarantee you,
dude, I love the fucking 4, the 5 people, any number of people who come into my chat to chill, to hang, to pop in every now and then with a question or maybe even a music recommendation. That shit is fun.
Yeah. The element, the element of luck in success in the internet is enormous.
Yeah.
And people don't understand this. There's a lot of people that are 1,000 viewers and are very talented. There's a lot of people that have the equal amounts of talent and don't have viewers. Are you two fanboys? I'm a woman.
Yeah, she's a girl. That's
Oh, Techno! What's up, Techno? Techno's one of my folks.
Oh, hello, Techno. How's it going? 4 people is enough to get Twitch emotes. I technically can open membership on my channel on YouTube here at any point.
Yeah.
I don't have any emotes, nor do I really feel particularly inclined to commission them.
Yeah. But yeah, in any case, we can move on from this numbers talk. It's hecka annoying.
Yeah.
But, what were we on about?
I don't know.
My parents, my psychological trauma and damage.
I guess I don't know something I'm curious to talk about. You went to Vexpo recently, right?
Vexpo. Yeah, I kept calling it Vexpo, and everyone correct me to Vexpo.
It's all good. Did you get to see any Vtuber concerts while you were there?
I did not. I did not. I had a very unique experience of Vexpo, where I was in town for a different convention. Is a convention that I was more interested in. That is the one that I go every year, which is TF Nation, which is Europe's biggest Transformers convention.
Right.
A lot of my closest friends go to them because we're all spread through the 4 winds. We catch each other, at TF Nation. And it happened to be at the same place at the Birmingham NEC, which is a big complex of convention centers, hotels, whatever. And that was where Vexpo was.
Yeah.
So it was like a short 15-minute walk between the 2 cons. So basically what I did is I did TF Nation mainly. That's mainly what I was there. And then on the Sunday I went to Vexpo for a few hours. But also as someone I say this and I look up and have my VTuber merch up there. I have my relationship to VTubing as a fandom has changed a lot in the past year because shit got fucking toxic and I just can't.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it really affected my enjoyment. Like normally it doesn't, but normally if there's a shit fandom, I can enjoy whatever it is because like
Yeah.
like if there's like the Star Wars fandom, shittiest fucking fandom on earth. I'm gonna call it
Yeah.
shittiest fucking fandom, but I can still enjoy a Star Wars, right? I can still have a good time with it because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, Luke Skywalker is not gonna turn to the screen and call me a cunt,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or say, hey, I hate people like you.
Right.
existing,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever. So I just got really burned out, and it was interesting because like 2 years ago when I was like really like starting out, and I was really big into my fandoms. I was getting into Pomu and I was getting into Selene
Right.
and all this sort of stuff. I would have killed to see any fan art of VTubers at a UK convention. You don't really get it even still. VTubers are not that big here in anime scenes. Like they're big, it's growing, and clearly we had a convention that did well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just now happening in 2024. And now I was there at Vexpo, and there was all this beautiful fan art of VTubers, badges, prints, any t-shirts, anything you want. Artists came from all over Europe. It was fantastic. It was beautiful.
Man.
I did not buy a single bit of VTuber merch at all. All that I bought a print of Hell of a Boss for my girlfriend. That's all
wow.
Yeah, just like because I was like, oh, I love this print of Mint, for example. I don't want to buy it. I just was not, and I had allowed some of my budget for Vexpo. And when I went, I kind of realized I still like VTubers, but I mainly really enjoyed Vexpo I see myself more as a creator than a fan right now, and it's okay to be both.
Fair.
It's perfectly okay to be it's perfectly okay to be both. But where I'm right now, I focus more on my creation and the creation of people that I know, and the small indies that are my friends or the people I support. And that's more important to me than going to see Iron Mouse, right?
Interesting.
But that said, I stood a meter away from K9 Kuro.
Oh,
Jimmy. Yeah.
Wait, you saw him?
I did see him. I didn't say hello. I could have said hello because he was there to hang out and see people.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, I talked to Mint, which was really nice. I got to talk to Mint, who was really lovely and remember who I was. And also, completely unrelated to TF Nation or that, do you know the YouTube video essayist Super Ipish Wolf?
Oh, yeah. Was he there?
He was a TF Nation with a mate.
Oh, yeah.
And I met him, I run into him, and I go to tell him he got me into wrestling. We got this wonderful group photo where I'm wearing, are you into wrestling at all? Do you know anything about wrestling?
Not that much. Vague stuff here or there.
Do you know the Austin 316 t-shirt?
No.
Oh, okay. I made a parody of a famous Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt.
Oh, okay.
But with a Transformers character, and I was wearing it when I met him, and I was like, hey, check it out. And him and his friend really liked it, and he was really friendly. We got to take a group picture, and it was fantastic. So I got to meet him and Mint and stand next to K9 Kuro all in one weekend. So it was pretty good.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I was not interested in actually queuing for all these events. I was just there to meet a lot of my VTuber friends.
Yeah.
And artist friends that were tabling and just like
totally.
So So it was. But yeah, anything you wanted, like other than that. So yeah, I can't tell you anything about the live experience of a VTuber concert. I'm afraid.
It's fine. Interesting. There's been a lot of VTuber presence at the Anakin main cons out here for review. See, that's my experience too. Like the limited VTuber interaction I've had at cons. Well, I say that as if I've been to a lot of cons. Really, I've only been to one con recently. I went to Anime New York City a few weeks ago, and that was a lot of fun. They had a lot of VTuber merch set up in the Artist Alley, the Diego's Hall. Hololive had their own booth set up where they had a bunch of their talents, streaming in from I think at one point Liz Bloodflame had her own karaoke going there, and there were a bunch of Rosarians there, all having the red the red glow sticks cheering her on. It was really cool to witness that. I personally went to see, what was it? Gerard and Goldbullet, they had a panel there like some point like in the afternoon, and I I actually got to ask them a question. You know, they had a little Q&A bit, and you know, I was given the microphone. I was actually wearing a Resi cosplay, so I got to say to them, "Hey, y'all are cool, and you inspire me to do what I do." And they were like, "Oh, thank you." But I asked them, like I was like, Gibby, you've done a Hot Ones stream and you were sent to the hospital because of it some time ago. Would you ever consider doing that again with Armis?
God.
And surprisingly, I feel like I might have gotten the ball rolling on something. We'll see.
Wait. Who was it that did the Hot One stream?
Gibby. He year or two. I forget how long ago it was, but he Goldbullet. He did like this. I don't know. It was like. Like he got like his own collection of like Hot Ones sauces and tried, doing the whole sort of Hot Ones thing. But by the end of it, I think like his acid reflux was really kicking in, and he had to actually go to the hospital.
My most popular redeems and charity streams when I do a charity stream are of course hot chips.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't injured myself with hot chips. One time I got like really raspy because I ate a lot.
Oh my god.
But you know what really fucked me up? I was doing a stream that was not like a charity stream.
Right.
My mate Captain Hurricane had a car accident. He was fine, but his car was kind of fucked, and he needed a lot of money to fix it to make it roadworthy because he needed it for work. So we were collecting money. We were all doing fundraising in our streams, and he came on the call. I was building some Gunpla, and I was like. I happen to have a lot of leftover, like, that super sour candy, right? I had a bunch of them in my desk, and I was like, okay, guys, I have like 4 or 5 of these. For every $10 donated to Captain Hurricane, I'll eat one. And I went absolutely wild, and people donated.
Oh my god!
And the problem, do you know what the problem was? Though, is that people at one point donated too fast, and I had 2 in my mouth at one time. I am pretty sure, some manner of chemical burn from that superpowerness. The center of my tongue was like numb for like a few days. It hurt to eat. It really hurt to eat because because you're only meant to have 1 at a time, and then when it's gone, you're not really meant to have too many more. But I had like 4 in quick succession. At one point, I had 2 in my mouth. I think maybe 3. Don't do this, kids. It's bad for you.
The spice fucks you up.
Yeah. No, but you know what it is? As someone that does stand-up comedy, or does, still does, who knows? I will do anything to get that laugh. I subscribe to this is not going to mean anything to you. I'm of the Mick Foley school of showmanship, where I will sacrifice my well-being to make sure that my audience has a good time.
Oh man.
And I don't know if that's always healthy.
See,
it's probably not.
What was it? A few months ago, I tried doing my own like spicy noodle stream, and that was for like a donation incentive for like this charity stream I did like a few months before that, and like I wanted to do it right, so I spent a lot of time looking for at least nearby for places that sold like the spicy noodles, and I thought I got like a proper combo going. Like I thought I got like a semi-spicy brand that was like that if I added a bunch of like fucking hot sauce into myself, that it would put me over, but it was just a bunch of tangy. It was just tangy. It was just sour, and it didn't really, it really didn't really make me suffer, which kind of defeated the whole purpose of the spicy noodle stream.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely, you gotta suffer. That's what people are here for.
So I feel like I've got to redo that again at some point. I need to either get like a bag of hot chips or whatever and down it all in one stream, or I need to actually get like the proper spicy noodles.
Yeah. I need to. I wanna get into those, because my thing is I also love spicy stuff, man. It's delicious. Like ever since I started doing like hot chip streams, I was like, you know what, Tabasco owns. I'm gonna put Tabasco on everything. Like it's not even that super spicy, but it has this nice vinegary taste. It's a good time. It's a good time.
Hope Pink Glove, their best song. Interesting, because I'll admit I've not listened to very much Pulp. You mentioned Pulp as one of
Oh
your
no.
favorite bands, didn't you?
Oh, fucking love Pulp. I've never seen them live, and it's a very recent kind of love. Well,
Mm,
very recent, I say. You gotta understand, I'm old. Very recent means in the last 7 years.
that's fair.
Okay. But I absolutely love Pulp. There's a verve of like being, and I don't know any of their later stuff. Okay,
Right.
I've just listened to I've mainly listened to a couple albums of theirs. I'm
Yeah.
not like a hardcore, but
All I know
love
from them is Common People, so you're
Common
good.
People. I mean, in fairness, Common People is one of my favorite songs, and it's an absolute banger, and it tells you a lot about the experience of being a student in the
Yeah.
UK.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of fascinating stuff in Pulp where it's like the push and pull of like being an artist in Britain and how that is hamstrung by the class system,
Oh yeah.
which the world, but in Britain it's really there,
Mhm.
and especially in England. And then like the combination of that from the fact that Jarvis Cocker and other members of the band come from working class backgrounds and had to like deal with all of this. And then there's just like a lot of stuff about like, I don't know, just like beautiful dance bangers about having sex,
Yeah.
and it's not, they were one of those bands that became big because they managed to combine making danceable bangers with like lyrics that really meant a lot to like young people at the time and about the
Yeah.
experiences. And they still resonate, they still resonate.
See, I love like that old Britpop moment like that they had back
Yeah.
then. Like, I mean, I haven't listened to much Pulp, but I can tell you for sure, Suede,
Wait, bro.
Blur, even Oasis's first two albums. I don't venture much further beyond What's the Story, but like
Yeah.
all of those like mid 90s like British alternative, even I guess Radiohead and Coldplay to a certain extent. All of those like
Coldplay is later. Coldplay will be
Yeah.
layer.
Yeah.
Radiohead started around the time. Manic Street Preachers started around the time, but they were big at the time, but they were like very separate from Britpop.
Oh yeah. Well,
As well.
Manic Street Preachers are actually pretty interesting because I like at some point in my glam metal video, I'm gonna have to discuss them and how they sort of shot off from that. But
Yeah.
But like 90s, the whole 90s British alternative scene was really unique. Like I don't know.
I think it was very. I think like my take on it, my hot take on it is that it was very. Oh, is the sound wavering? Sorry, I do move a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Has that been happening throughout the stream? Without me noticing?
I don't know. I think I think you do dip in and out, and sometimes in terms of sound, but I don't know. It's fine by me.
Okay. But Mrs. says I am older. Yeah, I hope it sounds okay. Also, you said I am older. I don't know if you were here when I said I was 41. So it's possible that you're older, of course, but I'm usually quite old. But in terms of Britpop, it's very hit and miss for me because like there was a lot of good stuff, right? Especially in retrospect.
Yeah.
At the time, it was combined with this entire thing about Cool Britannia,
Yeah.
which in retrospect was fucking dreadful. But I wasn't in Britain at the time, so I did, I don't care.
I mean, anytime a government
yeah.
tries to lean into like the cool countercultural stuff that their people are doing, it always kind of comes off as a little cringe, doesn't it? The Japanese government, they did that whole Cool Japan thing, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They did do that. And it is cringe. But like in the case of Britain, it was kind of like, I would say, I don't even know if Cool Britannia is like I don't know if it was a government thing, but it was like a cultural moment.
Yeah.
It was because like you have to like things were coming out of like fucking 20 years of conservative rule or something like that.
Yeah.
Like people were fucking depressed and broke,
Mm.
and they had this entire amazing alternative rock scene. and you had Tony Blair promising to change things and to like be nicer than the
Yeah.
Tories, which was hard because the Tories were eating babies. And you had this amazing moment, but also like the thing is, for every Suede and Blur, I'm not super into Blur, but for every Suede and Elastica and Pulp, you also had a fucking Kula Shaker, and we have to contend with the existence of the rancid mess that is Kula Shaker.
Oh my god.
Which, if you don't know, it's basically like the middle class kids that thought Britpop was very cool and got involved in bands. They are really into like exotifying cultures, and they're really into the yoga and all that shit. And they don't really have that much to say because they're wealthy.
I don't know too much about this Kula Shaker, but it sounds a whole
Yeah.
hell of a lot like Stone Temple Pilots in the grunge scene.
You know what?
Not to diss Stone Temple Pilots, they do have some great songs that I love, but
No, trust me, Kula Shaker is much worse. Kula Shaker is the worst of the hippies.
Oh yeah.
Showing up to the party, like not the cool hippies, not the good hippies that have the good weed and they're chill. It's the hippies that insist that you gotta be into crystals, bro.
Oh yeah.
You gotta check that. You gotta be into the JO crystals. But yeah, no. So no, that Britpop moment was really interesting. Obviously, I came to it late. Because
Yeah.
I was in Argentina at the time, and we have our own. Argentina has its own. Like we were talking about tango, Argentinian rock has
Yeah.
its own fascinating history
Oh, I'm
that
sure.
I don't feel qualified to speak about. But I listen to some bands, of course,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's also really, really fascinating. Very inspired by a lot of it. Very inspired by the British New Wave. Very inspired, like The Cure.
Mm.
Obviously inspired by a lot of British metal. I love Garbage. Garbage was fantastic.
Oh, Garbage. I
Um,
need to listen to more of Garbage. All I know
Yeah.
is that their drummer produced Nevermind.
oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. But yeah, no, so it was a very cool moment. It was very white. It was like super, super, super fucking white.
Yeah.
The 90s Britpop moment.
Mhm.
And a lot of it was kind of shit. Which is why like a lot of bands like the Manics just happened to get big at a time when British pop music was getting big. So they rode the wave in the sense of people were listening to British music more,
Yeah.
but not the kind of music because they started off as a punk band, based as a sort of glam rock punk band,
Mhm.
essentially, and then moved more into like kind of more mainstream indie rock. Well, more mainstream, I say.
Mhm.
I have not really. I will admit, I used to be a hardcore Manics fan. I have not really paid attention since. Basically, I was very. This is how long I've not been paying attention. I was very unhappy with Send Away the Tigers and everything that came after, and I did not like it. It was super, super. I'm sorry to be such an old grumpy punk, but
Hey, go ahead.
that shit was so fucking radio friendly, man. It was just it felt so safe, and I know that a lot of it was actually very heartfelt. They did like 2 albums that were like, there were all these notebooks of Richie lyrics. We turned them into songs.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this doesn't do it for me, bro. It doesn't do it for me. But you know what does it for me, though? Have you ever heard of the comic book Phonogram?
Can't say I have.
So, do you know the comic The Wicked and the Divine, maybe?
That I heard. I think I have heard of that.
So, Phonogram, I would say Wicked and the Divine is a spiritual follow-up of Phonogram. In many ways. So both comics are by the artist and writer team of Jamie McKelvey and Kieran Gillen, who I've met in person and are very nice.
Okay.
So Phonogram is this. There's three volumes of it, and it's the main concept of Phonogram is music is magic. So it happens in this alternate universe that is basically our universe, except it has a lot of like, people can do magic and there are gods, about, which is very similar to Wicked and the Divine, but Wicked and the Divine is very different, and I don't want to talk about it because I don't like it. But in Phonogram, so in the first volume, it's about this guy called Cole. And Cole is this guy. So this would have come out in the early 2000s. And Cole was a guy that he's a phonomancer. So he's like a guy that can make magic from music,
Oh,
from
neat.
like the feelings of music, how people. So basically, he goes to club nights to like gather his mana, basically, right? Now, Cole is a fucking asshole. He's like a misogynistic prick. And he's a guy that he became like your typical white indie rock music fan in the 90s with Britpop, but also he hated Britpop. He was like more critical kind of stuff.
Right.
Like, and so in this story, Britannia is a god that came back in the 90s and stuff. And what's happening right now is that someone is trying to revive. Like, there's a bunch of like people in their 40s trying to revive Britannia. They're like, oh, let's make Britpop happen again because we run out of ideas.
Oh boy.
And the entire thing is this oblique criticism of Britpop, oblique criticism of Britain culturally, and the underlying misogyny of a lot of it as well. By the fact that the main character is an objectionable asshole who suffers a lot because he's a prick. There is a story element of it, is that as the revival of Britannia gets closer, like it starts altering reality, and at one point Cole has a crisis of faith because he's like, shit, did I actually like Kula Shaker? Fuck. And so that was really good. The second volume is called The Singles. So the first volume is called Rule Britannia, which is an excellent title because of Rule Britannia, the anthem of the British Navy. So it's called Rule Britannia. The second volume is called The Singles Club, which is a fascinating. It's basically, because you have to remember, these are like six issue comics, right?
Right, yeah.
And the second one is about it's about a night at a specific nightclub that plays indie rock with female vocals, and it's basically the same night from the perspective of a bunch of different characters and what they are getting out of the night or not. And it's really cool and it's really interesting. It has that one has a lot of references to the Long Blondes, who I love. I discovered a lot of music from these comics.
You gotta love a good comic series that makes all those music references. I was watching the other day, I think, what was it? Yara's, I forget her exact channel name, but there's this one video essayist who did like a video on the Crow series and, how it's kind of tanked in recent years, but it's interesting going back and finding out how that original comic writer, how he was so inspired by the goth rock of the time, like The Cure and Joy Division and all that stuff. Yeah. In like the atmosphere he was setting. It's very neat.
Yeah, exactly. And like the cool thing with Phonogram is that it's so direct because like it is about listening to the music. It is about the band and what they meant and music criticism. There's an entire issue of Phonogram of the Singles Club that is like a character making a zine.
Oh,
and the character and the character is this like 18-year-old who is like extremely up himself and goes and wears a suit everywhere and is a phonomancer. And I'm like, man, I have met this dude. I've met 20 of this dude in the music scenes. I have met the pretentious dudes that only wear suits and are very elitist about what they listen to.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, and then the third issue, which was also really good, which was much more recent. It came out like 5 years after the last one. The third one was I think it's like the Imaginary Girl. The Illusory Girl, and it's about one of the characters that was a background character in the other two, and it's about how she sold her soul to become cool, and in doing so basically gave up being a person and became a horrible bitch.
Damn.
And she basically, what happens in the story is that her old self, who is also very self-hating and depressing, but which she has basically repressed, comes back, and who she is now gets trapped inside the television, inside all of these music videos.
Oh,
and it's
wow.
this beautiful journey of the mind and about her trying to like reincorporate who she actually is rather than deny. And again, these are fantastic. As a music lover, I think you might get a lot out of it for all the band references, and if not, it will get you into more British rock.
That sounds neat. Yeah. Send me.
It's real good.
Send me the name of that in Discord. Do you mind if I go and get some water real quick, or at least step away to use the bathroom? All right, I'll be right back. Let me just get my water glass up here, and yep.
Hi, chat. How are we doing? I run this place now. He became a glass of water. I'm doing good. I'm trying to find pictures of the phonogram covers to sell to Resi. And The Material Girl, that was what it was, because it's a play on Material Girl by Madonna. The Material Girl. Oh, phonogram is so good. I read it recently, chat. It's so fucking good. You gotta read it. If you're a lover of like British music, especially. Gotta do it. Yeah, sorry, it's late here, so I'm also kind of like out. I've been up since early because I went to play baseball and I hung out with my girlfriend, and so I'm just like, ugh. But I'm still, still with it. I can yap like the best of them because I'm fucking from Latin America. It's what we do, man. It's what we do. But yeah, I wonder if I should get the complete phonogram. Oh man, 108 pounds. Maybe that's why I didn't buy it. Oh, they colored the first arc. I don't know if I agree with that. The first, the Rue Britannia arc of phonogram was in black and white, and I really like that for it. Artistically, it looked really good. Of course, Jamie McElvee's art has evolved a lot since then, so the second and third volumes look much better, and they are in full color. But the first one, the black and white, really worked for me because it was such in a way, a very grim story. And finding out that this like new collection, they colored the first arc. I'm looking at they did it kind of monotone. They did it like it's not as colorful as the other arcs now that I'm looking at it, so it's good. It's kind of like a bit there's not a lot of saturation in it, so that works. But I kind of wish it was still black and white. But do I need to buy it? Probably not, because I have all the other volumes. So probably not, chat. Yeah, black and white is very nice. I mean, I read manga mainly, so use it. Hey.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back. I was talking to Chad about phonogram. I sent you the covers of the 3 issues.
Neat.
Of it. The three volumes, I should say.
Sweet. Yeah. Okay, so what else have we got? Do you have any fun like concert memories? Like how many shows what sorts of live shows have you been to in the past?
So I haven't I used to go to gigs a lot.
Right.
I don't really these days. The last gig that I went to was the last gig that I went to before the pandemic? It might have been. I'm trying to think. It might have been other like I went to see the Mountain Goats. I think that's what it was, and it was a really good gig.
Neat.
They've gigged here since, but this was like 2019. In terms of like really good concert experiences, I don't know. I've trying to recall, because like I used to hang out in the punk scene a lot in Dublin, and that was mainly going to see my friends,
right?
Like my friends' bands.
Love local gigging.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. I went like at the I mean, I think it's we have like a social center here in Glasgow called the Glasgow Autonomous Space,
Oh,
and
neat.
I do remember they had some punk bands a while ago, and that was pretty good. But I'm trying to think of any really memorable ones specifically. I mean, that Mountain Goats one was really good. It was so packed. Like the first time that I went to see the Mountain Goats in Glasgow was in 2013, I want to say.
Mm.
And it was like we were at a club that is closed now called the Arches,
Mm.
which was like a historic club in the Glasgow music scene.
Right.
And it got shut down by the feds or whatever equivalent of that there is.
The British bobbies.
Yeah, and the police, as we call them up here. And I mean, I think there's a club there or whatever, but it was a very famous venue. And it was like, it was sold out, but it was like a relatively small room, all things considered. And people were like we were sitting down for it. And when I went to see them at the art school, which is another venue that is much, much bigger, I went to see them in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very big venue, and obviously everyone was standing, and it was like jam-packed. Absolutely jam-packed. And what I really find it really funny is that when I first got into the Mountain Goats, not to brag, but it was in 2004, 2005, roughly. Like, it was mainly the province of like white guys. A lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot, because people hadn't heard of it. And now, like, when you went to this concert, it was like the audience was like so queer,
Yeah,
full of
yeah.
trans people. And I was like, yeah, this is the audience of the Mountain Goats now, and it is really good. And John Arneal like obviously embraces that. And but it was a really, really beautiful gig. He played, there's a song that he plays only at gigs that's not recorded, that is about his classmate that was trans and got bullied for it. And I think he kind of has implied that she's passed away. And kind of like he clearly made a song to express how he looked up to her, but didn't really want to necessarily like commercialize it in any way, which is understandable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was a really good one. I'm trying to think. Oh God. Oh, I feel. Oh man.
Oh, good.
It's like my brain has fucking emptied out.
It's all good. I wish
yeah.
I wish I knew more about the Mountain Goats. They seem like an interesting group. I was looking at them a bit. When you said that you were into them. Obviously I grabbed one of their album covers for the thumbnail, but
Yeah.
the whole thing of like, being the sole member of a band and being its guy, it kind of reminds me a bit of like the OCs almost, if you're familiar with them. Like,
Not.
they're this like Californian psychedelic rock group. They actually started off very indie and lo-fi themselves, but they've changed their names like so many goddamn times. Well, I say change their names, but it's always been like sort of around this similar theming of like OCS or something like that. They're now called OCs, I think, and they're a very interesting group. Very garage psychedelic, which is the type of shit that I like, honestly. Like,
Yeah. Oh, did you ever listen to Pavement? I fucking love Pavement.
I've heard a few of Pavement's albums. I think like Slanted and Enchanted and Crooked Rain.
Yeah.
I think I heard back in the day.
Yeah,
but
those are the first two, and they're my favorites. They're two of my favorite albums of all time.
yeah.
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
I really do love like that sort of, I guess lo-fi, like psychedelic, very heavy garage sort of rock sound. That's how I got into. Well, I say like, it's interesting the sort of music that's been created around the Ring of Fire that sort of matches that sort of description. Not only like you have all these cool bands on the Californian coast like the OCs, but then like the fucking Australian psychedelic rock scene too. Like, of course I gush over King Gizzard, but like Tame Impala, Ponds, there's even a goddamn band named Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, and they sound incredible.
Oh, that's so good. Do you know what my favorite band with a fucked name is?
What?
Butt Trumpet. You ever listen to Butt Trumpet? They're fucking good. They're like a weird, I don't know, they're like a weird punk band of some description whose songs are just fucked and
Oh,
they're hilarious.
nice.
They have a song, I think the first song, that like I think they only have one record, Public Enema.
Oh,
No, is it
yeah.
Public Enema? But
Uh,
anyway, but it's they have a song called Clusterfuck, which is about having sex with a bunch of your friends, and it's just how does it go? It's something like we got together, we had fun, we clusterfucked, and I was like, yeah, this sounds actually, this is so funny. It's very cheeky, it's a very cheeky kind of vibe, very just like messy punk,
Absolutely. Yeah.
God, I'm trying to think of what. Okay, here's a good one. I once saw The Darkness live, and it made me.
Oh.
Because I used to go to music festivals in the early 2000s, and it made me happy about having seen them live. I didn't go out and buy a record because back then, chat, you had to buy the records. Okay, we didn't have Spotify. You had to go and buy the records.
God, physical music.
Or fire up Audio Galaxy and later Soulseek. Let's be real. Fucking love Soulseek, by the way. But Soulseek is so good for discovering new music. But yeah, so I was at this music festival and The Darkness were playing, and I was like, well, there's no other bands I want to see at the moment. Let's push in and go see The Darkness. They were a lot of fun. They're the kind of band that I was like, I wish they weren't as big so I could catch them live more often.
Oh, I'm sure.
I would have paid to see them. They were a lot of fun to see live. And I think that at the same, I don't know if it was the same year, but it was at the same music festival.
Oh, yeah.
Run every year in Ireland. We had Muse.
Oh,
and
nice.
Again, I'm not a huge Muse fan. I consider Muse to be Radiohead for jocks.
Yeah.
And
earlier Muse is okay, though.
Listen, I play sports. I dual wield as a nerd and a jock. I get it. I just, I like trolling Muse fans. Muse fans can be very self-important.
Yeah.
But I was very impressed by the lead guy. I can't remember his name.
Matt Bellamy?
Matt Bellamy. Yeah, Matt Bellamy.
Yeah.
And he, there was one of the songs that started with like a slow piano bit, right? This is like a really good bit of showmanship.
Oh, yeah.
It has with a keyboard bit, right? So he has his guitar slung over his shoulders, and he's playing this piano. What song? Maybe if I tell you the riff, maybe you can if you know Muse, maybe you can recognize the song.
I don't know.
It's the one that goes like da na 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 na.
Not bringing the bell.
No worries. But it starts with like a keyboard bit, right?
Yeah,
so it starts with
yeah.
a keyboard bit before it goes into that, and he plays the keyboard, and then there's like a few beats before that. And as he does the last note, he fucking leaps over the keyboard, grabs the guitar, and does the riff. Leaps over it. I was wilding out.
There you go.
It was so good. I love that kind of shit. This is is it any surprise I'm into wrestling now?
Yeah.
But,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, that was a really good one. At that music festival, I also one time, the first time I went because the Manics were playing, and it was the first time I saw them live, and we wanted to push to the front, but obviously, they were headlining, so obviously a huge crowd of people, and so one of my friends that I did was like, let's go to the front for the previous act. We'll catch the previous act where they are. We don't care, but we'll be at the front for the Manics. And the previous act was the Polyphonic Spree. Do you remember them?
I've heard the name. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with the music.
They were this super group that had like fucking 30 members on stage or some shit. It was a good time. They looked, because they all dressed with white robes, so they all looked like they were like, they looked like some kind of church situation. They weren't, or a cult. They were.
Yeah.
But they were just very, if I remember them being fairly happy songs. They were all over the place in the 2000s. I think I also saw the White Stripes at that event. Probably. All the big bands. This was like the big music festival in Ireland, so all the big bands were playing.
Yeah. That sounds like a hell of a festival.
It was. It also, like, I also got sick of festivals because of that festival, because I was like, I'm tired of being out in the mud just to watch a dance.
Yeah, I've never been to a festival personally. I'd like to go at some point, but it does sound like a lot of exhaustion.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you know the song, Mrs. Yeah. No, that's the thing for me. It's like even this was in my 20s. I even decided that festivals were not for me because I was just like, man, I don't like being in a tent having it pissed on by someone that's drunk. You know,
Yeah,
I want to see a few bands. All the food is overpriced.
yeah.
It, but it was a good experience. It was a good experience. You know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I had so that was one. That was a good experience. I'm trying to think of like any fun punk experiences. I went oh, let me tell you a good one.
Yeah.
So about 14 years ago, I'm just
Yeah.
laughing. My life is absurd. I went to I had just left my job and
Mhm.
I got a severance pay,
Right.
and I went and I traveled America.
Mm.
And at the time, I was very much. This was like my proper queer punk phase.
Right.
Face is a very mean way to describe myself. But, and then I traveled all over the U.S. and I spent a few days at this. I don't know if it's still a thing, but basically a bunch of queers made a communal farm in the outskirts. Well, like about a few miles from Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's cool.
What is the city
Cleveland?
in Tennessee? No, Tennessee. It's in Tennessee.
Nashville?
Nashville. Thank you. I was gonna say Knoxville, but no, it's Nashville.
Mm.
So I flew into Nashville, got picked up, and basically what they do, what they do with this communal farm is they open it they open it to other queers as a big like camping music festival where we all cook communally, we all wash up communally, we all just like make sure
Yeah,
we look
yeah.
after each other kind of stuff, right? It's not it's not for profit kind of thing. It's like
Chill.
it's very DIY, yeah, and very very and like queer.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a lot of like very like DIY cool bands or whatever. The best moment of that weekend that I can talk about that doesn't involve sex. It was a bunch of queers in a field in the summer. Fucking figure it out. We were all having a lot of sex, and it was very kinky, and it was a good time. But God, I sound so fucking old, man.
Hey.
But a really funny moment that happened was this was when I realized that queers were into the mountain goats. One of my friends started playing the I would say most iconic Mountain Goats song, which is No Children, from their album Tallahassee, which is it's a beautiful song about a marriage falling apart and basically the person going like, I hope we both, this is so bad, I hope we both die kind of thing.
Right.
The classic ending of the song is like, I am drowning. There is no sign of land. You're coming down with me, hand in unlovable hand, and I hope you die. I hope we both die. It's very, it's a big downer of a song, but it's a classic. It's a classic. It's really good. It's kind of darkly funny. The whole album is very darkly funny. I recommend that album. And my friend started playing that in the guitar, and slowly, as the song progresses, like it was like 5 or 6 of us around it, fucking 50 people that hear it around the campsite start just like, and at the end we were like 60-70 people around all singing along to it, and that was a fucking moment. That was a fucking, it wasn't even at a gig in the weekend. It was
there
just
you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta love those moments of community that music can inspire.
yeah But no, yeah, so it was a rambly answer to your question.
It's
you
all
probably
good.
have more questions.
I've got like maybe one more question.
Yeah.
If you were to learn an instrument, because I know you mentioned to me you're not an instrumentalist. If you were to learn an instrument, what would you be interested in learning?
I probably at this stage keyboard.
Okay.
Because it's the only one that I have any I mean, I learned guitar for a while in my indie rock days.
Right.
It didn't vibe with me even before I had like fatigue and pain in my hands.
Yeah.
The amount of strength you needed in the hands to play guitar did not vibe with me.
Yeah, no, I'm much the same. I've tried learning like 3 different times how to get into the guitar, and the practice has always bounced off of me.
Yeah, but keyboard is something that was always, because keyboard was the first instrument I learned as a kid. I went to piano lessons, and I like really I really vibe with it. I visualize music in terms of keyboards.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that I would like. I bought an electronic keyboard. I bought like a USB, a really good USB keyboard,
Right on.
and I would definitely want to practice more on it because I really enjoy it. I just finding the time, finding all of that is difficult. But at the same time, I do love it. I haven't even talked about being a DJ. I haven't talked to you about DJing.
That's cool.
I DJ'd for a few years. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I forgot to mention that. I remembered because I used to, in the last few years that I was DJing, I incorporated a keyboard and a beat pad
Neat.
into it. I wasn't doing anything super fancy because I was always a laptop DJ.
Yeah.
But I was doing a tiny bit of mixing funny stuff. But I DJ'd like for many years.
Neat.
I DJ'd at like DIY events and like Lady Fest. I don't know if you're aware of Lady Fest.
No.
Lady Fest is like kind of a movement of like feminist, female centric like music festivals. Anyone could. It's not a brand. It's just a concept. Like, so I've been to Lady Fest Dublin, Lady Fest Berlin. It used to be a thing.
Okay. So it's like a sort of,
yeah, very punk, very DIY. And so I've DJ'd for Lady Fest. The last Lady Fest I was at was Lady Fest Glasgow in 2013. I think Lady Fest is pretty much dead as a concept at this point. But also, I've DJ'd Pride festivals. I DJ'd Dublin Pride. I DJ'd Northwest Pride. I've DJ'd at other Pride events. I've DJ'd at like the autonomous space, and I really enjoyed it. It started because like I had a MacBook in the early 2000s, and I went to a lot of queer parties, and I would just like start DJing. People liked it, and I kept on doing it because also at the time I was introducing people to a lot of like fun queer music that they didn't know, fun punk or queer or dance music. And that kept going, and I just got hired to do a bunch of gigs, not paid a lot. You understand,
right?
I wasn't ever really a professional, and the reason I did consider professionalizing at some point and going more technical and going more for it. But at that point, I realized that I started, because obviously the more gigs I did, the bigger gigs I did. And it wasn't that they were huge or anything, right? But they were bigger and a tiny bit more mainstream. And I started realizing that when you go out of like nice DIY kind of queer spaces, and you go out into the real world, the general public can be fucking cunts.
Yeah, I can imagine that the general rave audience can be quite a hassle to deal with.
People are cunts to DJs. The last, I don't know if it was the last time I DJed, but one of the last times that I DJed was for the Glasgow Autonomous Space. And what used to happen is every Saturday they used to have like a big dance party with DJs, and because it was a regular thing, and it was cheap and DIY, and you could bring your own drink, it became very popular for just like the general clubbing crowd to come to. And I had some of the rudest fucking people, man, who would go like, "Can you play this?" And I'm like, "I don't have it." And also, even if and sometimes someone's like, "Can you play this?" I'm like, "I have it, but I'm not gonna play it because I have a structured set that I've done, that I'm adapting as I go." I had people like insult me. I had people fucking cuss me out. I had a very drunk guy who every time he ran into me coming in and out of the venue after I was done kept telling me how much I sucked. And his girlfriend was like, "I'm sorry, he's really drunk," and he kept saying that I sucked. And I was like, and I said to her, like, "That's no excuse. He's a fucking asshole." He was mortified.
Man,
he was mortified.
Fucking.
Yeah.
Why are people so insistent on pissing off the person that makes the vibes of their night, that sounds
because they want a specific song. They don't recognize the songs because they want everything to be the same. They want everyone to play the same songs. On the other hand, the last time I did a big queer gig as a DJ, I played there's a lot of wonderful remixes of Megalovania, of course, but there's a couple of really, really good club mixes of Megalovania, and I played one, and people were going fucking ballistic.
I believe it.
To the point that at one point someone that was jumping up and down and super excited dancing, like this guy turns around to me and he's like, "Is this fucking Megalovania?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Whoa!" He was so happy, And I was like, "That's why I did it," but it just got too stressful.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was a lot of fun doing it. I did it for doing it for Pride festivals. It's really good.
That's cool. Yeah,
So
I
it
hope
was fun.
I hope you're able to get back into keyboarding. That sounds like it'd be dope. Me personally, keyboard, it's always described as a percussion instrument, right? And I tend to view myself as the percussion guy. I'm good on drums, and I also I had like a semester's worth of lessons on marimba, so I kind of have some sort of, I guess. I have my foot dipped in a few different buckets, but piano I've never been able to quite, get my hands around. Pun not intended.
Piano keyboards, they have that beautiful thing that they are. I mean, much like a guitar can be, they can be melody, they can be rhythm.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of like I do enjoy some good drumming.
Mhm.
Like I do enjoy some really good drumming. An old boss of mine from when I worked in the gaming industry was this French metalhead dude who released this weird experimental album that was like kind of like basically it had a lot of atmospheric vibes and a lot of fucking sick drumming in it that he did because he was a drummer and he didn't have a band.
Respect.
And he did all these like synths. Yeah, he did all these like cool synths with like cool drumming that went with it.
Yeah.
And I wish I could you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna Google him because I remember his name. He had a very iconic name. He was called Francis Courchinu.
Oh wow.
Very iconic dude. Oh man, he's still about. He's still about. All right. Oh man. Oh wait, this is the website from 2004.
Oh my god.
For the same album, because I remember it was called The 5 Seasons. Oh, I don't think
funny.
it works anymore. Oh, that owns.
Wow. I'll have to check it out.
All the songs are marked as like. Oh, some of them have lyrics. Okay, maybe I'm misremembering. It was 20 years ago, but like, oh my god, they were meant to play with real player.
Oh my god. Wow.
Bro. Oh my god, it's the same website as back then. It's amazing. How
we love a good
Wow.
Web 1.0 website, don't we?
Yeah. Oh, he's on Spotify. That's good. I'll link you to the album.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, he's on Spotify. Let's go. Oh man, so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah,
This
yeah.
has been a really fun conversation. I kind of feel bad leaving it off here, but I am, I feel like at the end of my questions here, and I ought to go shower and have some dinner before King Gizzard are actually, I don't know, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, I don't know if you know, they are they're pretty damn generous with, like, their fan base in terms of allowing, them to bootleg their material, their live material specifically. Like, they release soundboard recordings every now and then for people to, like, put out on their own, like, custom vinyl or cassettes or whatever. This entire tour that they're embarking on right now, they're in the US right now, and, like, going like from the East Coast to the West Coast. They've explicitly said that they're allowing like all of their fans to bootleg, I should say they are live streaming all of their fucking gigs for free on YouTube and allowing all of their fans to eventually do whatever the fuck they want with that audio or video. It's insane.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah,
that is extremely cool.
And
Yeah.
And I can't wait to jump on because tonight they're apparently playing in Chicago for 3 hours, and I do not want to miss a second of it. So
Go do that. Yeah.
I'm going to end things off here, but thank you so much for the conversation. Where can people find you?
Thank you. People can find me on right now. I'm streaming on Twitch.
Okay.
A couple of 2-3 days a week. Currently playing Elden Ring and probably Gundam Breaker, not gonna lie, and building Gunpla. That's on twitch.tv/Maru Malandra.
I just dropped it in the chat.
Oh yeah, thank you.
No problem.
And I'm on Twitter every day because I'll be the last one out of Twitter. Like I am extremely, I'm extremely on there. And on YouTube, it's at Maru Malandra, youtube.com/@Maru Malandra, where you can see some of my stupid videos that I've made with my friends, and where hopefully I will drop soonish my first video essay on one of my favorite comics called The 5-Star Stories, which I didn't even bring up, even though it is relevant, because the writer is a big fan of prog rock and keeps naming Mecca after prog rock bands that I had never heard of, like what was the one? Oh shit. Oh, I had it at the tip of my tongue. Anyway.
That sounds cool.
He names characters in Mecca after obscure German prog rock bands.
Oh wow! Like,
yeah.
I hope I can't wait to see you talk about that then.
I will.
Yeah, but yeah, everybody go follow Maru. She's very chill. I had a lot of fun talking with her today, and yeah. We're gonna, I said it so we can redirect to a friend of mine's stream. We're going to be going into Noriboshi Ariel's RuneScape stream.
I love Ariel.
Oh,
I love her.
yeah, she's a great friend of mine.
Yeah.
Love her so much.
If
you decide to follow along, you can type in the chat cat raid. But otherwise, thank you all for tuning in so much to today's stream. Next stream, I don't have a guest lined up yet, but probably will be, same sort of time, same day, etc., etc. Thank y'all for the continued support, and of course, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.